Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Hundreds of thousands of people in Oregon are fleeing from fires. The governor says they've never seen anything like this before. We'll check on the firefight there and here at home.
Strong words from our county officials over the idea Halloween could be canceled due to coronavirus concerns. What they want people in Kern to do coming up.
Pausing to remember, the nation will reflect on the terror attacks of 9/11 today, 19 years later. We'll show you the ceremonies around town and online on this Friday, September 11th, 2020. Good morning. It's 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen here along with Alex Fisher.
Yeah, and today marks 19 years since the terror attacks on September 11th, 2001.
One of the darkest days in American history. All over the country, Americans will reflect and remember the nearly 3,000 lives lost that day and the thousands who died from illness and the wars that followed.
This morning, countless remembrance memorials are being held across the country, including here in Kern County. And 17's Taylor Schaub is live this morning at Bakersfield Fire Station 15, where the Bakersfield Fire and Police Departments will hold their annual ceremony virtually this year. Taylor, what can you tell us?
The images are indelible. The fear was palpable, and the bravery is undeniable.
I think none of us should feel secure. I think we need to be prepared.
The heart-wrenching scene on September 11, 2001. A moment that forever changed our country and left a lasting imprint 3,000 miles away in Kern County.
At 10 a.m., the City Emergency Operations Center was prepared for operation.
But this attack, meant to divide our united nation, instead inspired it as thousands of first responders came together at the rubble of Ground Zero, including members of the Bakersfield and Kern County Fire Departments, deployed to our country's shattered symbol of defense, the Pentagon.
It didn't really look real. It looked like something that a movie set had put together. You know, some Hollywood producer thought this thing up.
Then there were the millions of everyday Americans, many like you and me, who asked simply, what can I do? Never was the giving spirit of the Golden Empire on such display. Lines seemingly miles long, full of Kern County residents looking to give blood to their fellow brothers and sisters.
It's not that I have family or friends over there, but I'm an American, and that makes them family and friends.
We need to rebuild those towers. We should rebuild them one-story higher.
Prayer was also in the air as people from every faith came together to pray in one voice.
It's very beautiful to see how everybody's become one family here.
And finally, the millennial generation exposed to the terrors never seen on American soil.
Be seen on TV.
Plane crashes and all kinds of buildings crashing.
Do you understand why?
Not really.
Is it scary?
Very scary.
So as the darkness of 2020 rages on this day, we are reminded that no matter the challenge, Kern County and our country can overcome the odds.
Yeah, and Maddie and Alex, 19 years ago, steel girder behind me, well, that was in the rubble at Ground Zero. Now it is standing here in Bakersfield. And as we said earlier, this ceremony is going to look a little different this year. It's going to be online, but still, Bakersfield Fire Department and the Police Department, they want to honor those who died in 9/11 and the attacks on 9/11. So they are going to do so. It's going to happen at 8:30 this morning, and we will be streaming it live on KGET. And we're going to have updates throughout the morning here on 17 News at Sunrise. We're going to talk to some people from the Bakersfield Fire Department, from the Bakersfield Police Department, and honor everybody who lost their lives that day. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you very much, Taylor. And that's not the only way that you can pause to remember today. There are several other ways, and we're going to be telling you about those throughout the morning.
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for all of us during our busy lives to just, take a moment to remember what happened 19 years ago.
The Cree fire burning east of Fresno has now burned more than 175,000 acres, and officials say it's still growing. Officials say the fire is burning toward the south into the Fresno County communities of Meadow Lake and Toll House. The growth rate has slowed from previous days, but the massive amount of smoke in the air means only 1 or 2 helicopters can fly in the fire zone to make fire drops.
They're only able to make a few missions and a few runs, which isn't the heavy and consistent application of retardant that we really need.
However, a glimmer of hope, they are starting to get some containment. It's at 6% this morning. Meantime, though, in Oregon, some 500,000 people are evacuating due to raging wildfires there. Evacuees all hitting the road, not knowing if they'll have a home to come back to.
It's scary. It's so scary. To go and leave your home, everything you own. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun.
In Clackamas County, evacuees forced to flee from their homes found themselves stuck in traffic. Cars and trucks crawled along highways after residents were told to pack up and go. The gridlock stretched for nearly 10 miles.
New this morning on Sunrise, a driver crashes into a power pole in northwest Bakersfield. It happened just after midnight in the 5800 block of Norris Road. That's where there were no reports of any injuries. PG&E was called out to the scene to repair the power pole. We reached out to CHP for more details, but have not heard back as of news time.
Here at home, police are looking for the shooter or shooters who fired at a man driving in South Bakersfield. It happened around 10:30 last night near the In-N-Out restaurant on Panama Lane near Colony Street. According to police, the man was driving the Dodge Challenger when another car pulled up alongside him and someone began shooting.
Bullet was struck, which caused him to veer out of control and crash. Came to rest. Apparently the suspects approached him again and shot at him again, right in this general area.
BPD says neither the driver nor his passenger were hit. The suspect vehicle is described only as a gold or tan car. If you have information on this wild crime, call BPD at 327-7111.
Your time now is 5:08, and 17 News is your local election headquarters. Briefly pausing their campaigns today, President Trump and Democratic challenger Joe Biden both will visit Shanksville, Pennsylvania to mark the 19th anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks. But although they'll converge geographically, politically, they couldn't be more at odds. Alice Barr has more.
Alex, President Trump is still fighting this week's explosive revelations from Bob Woodward's new book, while the Biden-Harris ticket is accusing the president of failing to act quickly on what he knew about the dangers of the coronavirus. On a day of national mourning, President Trump and Democratic challenger Joe Biden both marking the 19th anniversary of 9/11 with visits to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where Flight 93 crashed into a field after passengers fought back. It comes during another national trauma without the rare bipartisanship of 9/11. Overnight in a campaign rally in Battleground, Michigan, the president coming out swinging against Biden.
Now he wants to surrender our country to the violent left-wing mob.
Also responding to explosive reporting from veteran Washington Post journalist Bob Woodward, revealing in taped interviews that President Trump knew early on how deadly coronavirus was.
This is deadly stuff.
And intentionally played down the threat.
I still like playing it down.
Yes,
Because I don't want to create a panic. This whack job that wrote the book, he said, well, Trump knew a little bit. They wanted me to come out and scream, people are dying, we're dying.
Biden accusing the president of failing to act to save American lives.
He waved a white flag. He walked away. He didn't do a thing. Think about it. Think about what he did not do. And it's almost criminal.
President Trump defending his response.
I put the ban on China. So obviously, outwardly, I said, it's a very serious problem.
And insisting he never lied to the American people. President Trump is due to speak at a ceremony at the Shanksville Memorial this morning. Joe Biden set to pay his respects there in the afternoon after spending his morning at the 9/11 Memorial in New York. In Washington, Alice Barr, 17 News.
Owners of a Northwest Bakersfield restaurant are vowing to rebuild after their business was destroyed by flames. Terry and Jose Gonzalez have owned Casa Mexico on Rosedale Highway since 1998. On Monday, while they were away, the restaurant caught fire. The Gonzalezes say they lost everything and it could take up to 4 months to rebuild.
It's been hard with the pandemic, going up and down with closing, opening and closing again. But I mean, we've had some great loyal customers that have been with us, and Even the day of the fire, I was very touched when some of our customers came by to see if we were okay.
The Gonzaleses say they're most concerned about 2 longtime servers who do not have a job right now to return to. They've started a GoFundMe for the servers. We've posted a link to it on our website, kget.com.
It's 5:11 now, and now to the latest on the coronavirus. Kern County's death toll has now surpassed 300 lives. 10 new deaths were announced yesterday, bringing the death toll to 307. Public Health also announced 69 new cases. Right now, more than 13,000 people are isolated in their homes after testing positive for COVID-19, and 159 are being treated in local hospitals.
A new affordable housing development in the making for over a decade is now complete. Mountain View Village in Lamont can house up to 40 families. The executive director of the Housing Authority of Kern says throughout the past several months, it has become even more important for families to have a home of their own.
Not everybody has the opportunity to have a home of their own. We know there are thousands of families in Kern County who can't even afford just a basic apartment. So they end up living in overcrowded or substandard housing, or they pay 50% or more of their income on rent and are constantly on that edge of potentially becoming homeless.
The village is the first of its kind to combine sustainable transportation improvements, affordability, and zero net energy.
Welcome back, 5:15. It is finally Friday, and it's a little bit cooler out there again this morning, Kev.
Yeah, it's nice out there. We've got 63 degrees again yesterday, hitting only 85, 6 degrees below normal for this time of year. We've got a north wind at 3 miles per hour currently. Around the valley, we've got 50s and 60s right now. Into the mountains, 40s for Pine Mountain Club, Frazier Park, and to Ashby. A little bit warmer out of Lake Isabel at 78. We have a dense fog advisory along the coastal areas, but that is it this morning. Daytime highs 88 in Sacramento. 91 today in Fresno, down to the south 70s and 80s, and we're back in the 90s for Vegas at 94, 98 in Phoenix. High pressure sits offshore, and we're still tracking that area of low pressure just to the east of us. That is still creating that northwesterly flow, bringing some of that smoke our direction. I see no big time warm up in place, so that'll be a good thing for all of us. Today we'll be looking at temperatures near 90 in Bakersfield, 88 McFarland and Taft, 89 out in Buttonwillow. For the mountains in the Kern River Valley today, a northwest wind 10 to 15. We're looking at 79 in Frazier Park, 77 in Bear Valley, and then for the Kern River Valley, we'll be looking at the 80s to lower 90s. Out of the desert today, sunny, but also a little bit of that smoky haze, a southeast wind 10 to 15. And Mojave at 90. Here's a look at your extended forecast, and you can see tomorrow on Saturday 92. We'll bring it up a little bit as we head into Monday and Tuesday, and then next Thursday we're back in the upper 80s. So is this kind of a change in the weather pattern? I sure hope so. Hopefully no more triple digits as we take a look at the mountains. We'll be a little bit warmer for the weekend with those 80s, and those 80s hang on through at least next Thursday. And then for the Kern River Valley, upper 80s today as mentioned, and then we're in the 90s for the weekend, but by next Thursday, back right near 89. So these temperatures very nice to see. Air quality, we'll have to see how that plays out today. Yesterday, it really helped with our temperatures.
Yeah, it was definitely nice to see the lower
temperatures,
but the sky was so bad.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Kev.
Welcome back to your 17 Business Watch. And restaurants in downtown Bakersfield now have another option on the table when it comes to serving guests. The nonprofit hub of Bakersfield is partnering with Wall Street Alley restaurants to temporarily close the alley every Thursday through Sunday. That will allow eateries to serve customers in the alley while the governor's ban on indoor dining remains in effect.
We hope that we can get back to normal soon, but realistically, we don't know. And so we are making plans to do additional street closures in downtown over the next few weeks.
All of this is being done to help businesses impacted by the pandemic. Today, a major West Coast drive-thru coffee chain is arriving in Northeast Bakersfield. Dutch Brothers is found mostly here on the West Coast. It opened its doors, or rather windows, this morning to Bakersfield residents. It's located on Columbus Street near Haley Street in the same plaza as Lowe's. Kevin, you still have a couple hours until you can leave. He's really excited about that coffee chain. Yeah,
absolutely.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to KGET.com.